You are a sickening, disgusting disgrace to the youth of America. They stage mock executions and they spit blood on members of their audience.
And they love it. They love it.
So while you're in there flipping these endless knobs, why can't you be watching different channels of porno that are playing in the booth at the same time?
Surrender or pay the consequences.
I love this act. Oh, now this has some substance. It's about time we had substance on this show.
Let's wait, hey, wow. Hey, oh, wow.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't think much of his muscles.
You haven't seen his cockles, have you?
So, you know, I don't touch the stuff.
Okay, now.
Good evening. Here's the news flash.
Hey, shut up! Shut up!
Oh, so I'm gonna begin this recording with Mr. J sitting in my lap. Yes, you wonderful. You gonna watch TV with me, aren't you? Okay. So here's the recording, you know, and I'm just gonna record this, okay? Channels that I like, first the ones I don't like, okay? And, okay. So, flipping the channels, right? Okay. Alright, so I'm flipping Antenna TV. I love Antenna TV because they show these old school TV shows that, you know, I was grown up with, like, you know, Welcome Back, Kotter, It's a Living, Three's Company, Webster, right? Had a cat named Webster. He got pulled away from me with another cat named Gravy, and I miss him tremendously. But I had a cat named Webster. Okay, and okay, back to the antenna TV thing. Oh, they show like old school stuff, and I always thought that was a great channel. They used to show Benny Hill on there. I love Benny Hill. I was raised with Benny Hill. And, okay, I love the Gong Show, too. I always loved Chuck Barris. I always wanted to just go through a time portal and meet this man. He's the funniest person ever to me. Okay, they're showing Give Me a Break with Nell Carter. Fabulous. I love that show. You know, Nell Carter. Nell Carter, man. Oh my gosh, she's the true Wonder Woman for me. Oh my gosh, it's glorious. And she's wearing like this kind of like Viking golden costume with the spear, and you know, so she's a sister Viking, and so fabulous, you know, great actress or actor, you know, if you want to be PC. Oh, let's be PC, oh boy. But woo, okay, next channel. Court TV. No, I don't know. Sometimes they're good, but I don't think I could just sit there for 18 hours a day and watch them, you know. You know, it's just kind of like, oh, they're kind of like the ESPN for me of, you know, trial courtroom channels. And okay, Channeling Painter, she's nice to look at, but no, she's, you know, well, they had the Harvey Weinstein thing, and I just think the woman could probably, you know, send hit women to kick this guy's ass. You know, something like, you know, blah blah blah, victim, blah blah blah, met through a website, blah 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 blah, plenty of fish. You know, so there's a website called Plenty of Fish. Like that matters. Okay. All right. So moving on. This channel's boring me to death. Okay. TBD channel. Okay. TBD. I like some stuff on here. Okay. Dust is great. Pet Collective. You know, I love. And it's adorable. You know. So, you know, there's probably some other ones, you know, indie movies every once in a while. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Local weather, boring. Yeah, you know, that's, you know, weather control in the end. Anyway, HAARP weather control, whatever. Okay. The Comet channel. I love this channel because, well, first time I saw this, I was like, oh man, I'm just bored of the bland fucking news all the time. This channel came on like in a winter time sometime, and they show like bad films. I love bad films. And then they're showing Dolls right now. The Full Moon movie. I dig Full Moon, you know. You know, trauma stuff is cool. You know, there's these dolls, and they're demented looking dolls, like, oh, I'm going to kill you, but they don't really kill anybody. It's all fake and special effects, but I love it, because, you know, what else do they show on here? Rodor. I love Rodor. So, you know, Captain Cold Iron. Change for $1. You know, I mean, you know, Mystery Science Theater 3000. I love that one. Okay, moving on. This channel. Okay. Showing some Roseanne Barr comedy, and it's called She-Devil. I don't watch that, so establish that. Moving on. Quest. Okay, Quest I've been watching a lot in 2020. They show some stuff that I really like. X-Men. It's about these lumber, these you know, and that's like a reality show. I think it's better than Survivor on CBS. You know, it's a lot more. I don't know what you'd say about it. And then they show Ice Road Truckers, and it's about these truckers in Alaska who, like, you know, they have to drive in below 20 to 40 degree weather in Alaska, and that's their job. And, you know, but I just totally respect them people, because, you know, I used to work with truckers, and, you know, you can't expect glamour from, you know, a trucker that's gotta make a long haul to somewhere and haul this stuff, because it's their job. I mean, you know, so yeah, I respect those people. You know, okay, Okay, moving on with the channels here. Just coming up for that. Sub-channels that are not coming up. They're PBS channels. Local news, blah, blah, blah. Alright, I'm the doctor, and I go in this thing, and, oh, you got a lump on your head, and, you know, oh, you got a Siamese twin growing out of your head, well, you're gonna be okay in a week, blah, blah, blah. Moving on, next channel, Me TV. Okay, Me TV shows some shows that I like. Okay, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. I love that show. They used to show Battlestar Galactica, right? Another show I grew up on. Awesome. What else do they show? God, kind of exhausted here. So, gosh, they show some great shows on here. I believe they show Twilight Zone with Rod Serling. I was raised up with that. I mean, you know. So, yeah, there's that. And God, my mind's kind of aloof right now, but that's okay, you know. So, moving on. Praise. Okay, TBN channel. Okay, they show Jonathan Cahn's Book of Mysteries, right? Love that show. I love that show. Sometimes they show Jewish Voice, right? Jonathan Cahn and the other guy, Ezra Benjamin. Yeah, that's right. And they show some other stuff on, you know. There's some that I, you know, probably shouldn't mention names, but you know, sometimes they show some stuff that really speaks to me, and I'm like, wow, you know, it's like, you know, again, my mind's kind of aloof right about now. Kind of had an on and off day today. So, okay, moving on. Hillsong. Oh, T.D. Jakes is a really good one, but they show Jewish Voice on this one too, and they show some good quality stuff on here. So let me think. Daniel Fusco, he's one that kind of speaks to me. They show some other ones. Brian Houston. Okay, it's Brian Houston channel from Australia. Exceptional. I mean, you know. But that's what I like. You know, I like stuff that, you know, even if it's biblical, it makes you think. Sometimes a preacher would be like, you know, I'm not terribly into Swaggart at all, because for me he's kind of deadpan, and you know, the Donnie Swaggart guy, just an outright hypocrite to me, and I'm like, and it doesn't speak to me spiritually, and it's almost like, I don't know, he gets on there, you know, Jimmy Swaggart, he gets on there, some lady sends him like $10,000, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you know, but Hillsong, just the opposite, you know. They tell you the biblical information correctly. What's that one that I like? Cafe Theology with Terry Chris. He's really good too. I mean, they got a lot of great content on this channel. But okay, moving on. Flip. Smile of the Child Network. Oh, let's see. Oh, there's this show that they show, and it's called it's called 2x2 from Australia. Oh, and this is a real beautiful woman. She's a brunette lady. I don't know what her name is. And I watch this show, and I think these men and women, they look too beautiful to be a children's show. And it's like this can't be real. I mean, it's you watch that in a lucid state, right? You're just like, oh, they gotta be on like Pornhub or something, and it's like they're just gorgeous people. I mean, gorgeous women. And I feel a little weird staring at them, but I'm like, whoa, hello, okay. But now they're showing this show called Rags. Okay. bunch of puppet like primary color things, and they got a talking cat, and the talking cat's like, hey, how you doing? And the cat's like, oh, would you do that? Would you set a fire in your house, in your living room? And the kid's like, no, I wouldn't do that. I'm just a kid. And they're discussing the primary colors here. And there's like a pink dog, and they're mixing colors. Like, I used to do that in art school. Fascinated me. Grade school, when they took me out of there, sent me to this private place, had no doctors or whatever. They just, fourth grade to 8th grade on, right? They sent me to this place, and they were doing drug testings on these kids without medical doctors there, consent. And it was crazy, man. I don't want to go back to that. Bad memory, man. Bad. Okay, back to Rags here. But these kids are mixing like primary colors, making potato art and Picasso art. It's much worse than Picasso. Okay, they're spinning around. Coloring, wee! Primary colors, wee! Okay, I'm moving on. And Lost, I don't watch that one. So I suck at speaking Spanish. Okay, moving on. Pause TV. They got this new channel that they replaced with another channel. It's called Pause TV, right? And sometimes they show some good content on here. It's just, I get in a moment, and what they used to show on here? Okay, they canceled Juice TV on here, right? I kind of like that one, because, what would you call that? The way for a younger audience, like teenage years. It wasn't too bad. Back in my day, I used to stay up and I used to watch Headbangers Ball with Ricky Rackman on it. And that's what introduced me to a lot of bands and, stuff like Cannibal Corpse and, Carcass, right? And I still listen to them in 2020, the old school metal. So yeah, they show stuff like Poison and Britney Fox and, hair metal bands. I didn't mind the hair metal bands, but, the stuff that really kind of spoke to me, even now, I say Testament, right? Anthrax, early Megadeth. I didn't mind early Megadeth, even up to say maybe Holy Wars and what's it called? Rest in Peace. But I don't know. I don't listen to him so much in the 2020 eras. But they got some good songs. So, okay. Moving on. Okay. Public television. PBS. They show some good stuff on here. High def, I like low def stuff though, sub channels are just freaking amazing to me. Okay, moving on. Okay. Public television, Create channel, the one that shows like Bob Ross, and that's another show that helped me do the art, was Bob Ross. And if you want to learn artwork, Bob Ross is the one. Bob Ross, fundamentals of true art. But they show some other ones too. I really like Whelan's Art Studio, or Whelan's Art Studio. The guy that makes the sea life art. Oh, he's really good too. I mean, they show some good stuff. Cooking shows. Oh, my mind's saying Molly of Denali, but that's not on there. It's on the main 2 channels. It's like 4 channels. Okay. Okay. Mine's lapsing out on me. What's this? Get TV. So, Married with Children. I love Married with Children. Al Bundy. I'm Al Bundy. Let's rock. that whole family unit that lives in the Chicago area, and Al Bundy's a shoe salesman. Old Fox show, it's hysterical. And they show Fred Sanford, Sanford and Son, and alright. Show some other ones too. My mind's kind of lapsing out here, but oh well, when I get that up as a video, Alright, moving on. Home shopping network, something or another. I don't know what that is. Product with bags underneath your eyes. Crystal. I don't know what that is. I see that's a lot. 29. I'm not too much into the WB channel, because when I was doing comics, right, I don't know, I always like stuff like Richard Corbin, Robert Crumb, Robert Williams, Heavy Metal Magazine, what are some other ones, Verotic, Euros Comics, and that helped me with like the more underground stuff. I love the underground. So I was like in 17 issues of a comic put out by Radio Comics, and it was called Furlough. And if you Google like artist Mickmo, hashtag artist Mickmo, and into the future, it's like you bring up a lot of my artwork, and yeah, that's the whole point, and I didn't really learn the internet until I got to college. And isn't that crazy? I see these kids now, and they got these devices, and they know how to operate them, like in a stroller. I never had that. I had a Game Boy that was stolen from me by, a football bully. I'm not going to say his name, but yeah, okay. Okay, the CW is what it's called. They used to call it the WB, right? I think the only show I really watch on this thing is Penn and Teller Fool Us. Yeah, that's a fun show, but I don't watch a lot of DC shows because I don't know. They just look too polished up, too mainstream. I'm into stuff like District 9 and stuff. That's a dirty movie, and Weakest Vandermeer, he's like, you fucking plants, you know what? He gets this shit in his eyes, and he finds this. He confiscates this alien technology, right, in District 9, and it changes him genetically, so he's turning into a real life alien, I love District 9. I've always liked that one. Gosh. There's stuff that I like that, it's on the fringes of society, but that's my existence, man. It's like, oh well, I'm not too much into like Marvel movies too much. They got some good ones, but the ones I like, the ones I really like are like Howard the Duck and Red Brown Captain America, crazy shit like that. But that's cool. Somebody's got to be into those kind of movies, because everything's just kind of mainstream in this era for me anyway. Stuff I was raised on. They recorded on old school VCR tapes, but before VCR tapes, tape reels and video reels, that's the kind of stuff I truly love. I mean, wacky shit that and I wasn't thinking about it, like Benny Hill and Gong Show, and we had like Saturday morning cartoons, so stuff like Mighty Orbots is just legendary to me. There's so many that I loved growing up. Thundar the Barbarian had a very profound effect upon me. It's like, the earth is fucked up and the moon cracks, and Jack Kirby was on that cartoon. Jack Kirby, and I did 2 comic shows with Stanley. I met him one time, and he was okay. He had a lot of money, and I remember that, when I think Stanley, I think one word. I think Excelsior. Like what they used to show on what was that? The Spider-Man Hulk Hour. As a kid, you're watching this stuff and you're like, he's like, hello, I'm Stanley, and this is the Spider-Man hour. And they showed like Iceman and Firestar? That's right. So they had Spider-Man and characters with like ice and fire powers. Then they went to like the other side, which was like the Hulk you know, and I like that one. That was a good one. See, my mind's kind of in a drift while I'm watching digital flat screen TV here, you know. Okay, they're showing Justice Network. I like Justice Network, you know. I'm not too much into cops really, but okay, they show Parking Wars on this, right? And then they show Dog the Bounty Hunter. Now, I like those shows. I like those kinds of things. Okay, they show this paranormal cop show, and I believe it's called Psychic Detectives. That one fascinates me. I like Psychic Detectives. That's a good one. Okay. Flip. Moving on. Flip. 38 The Spot. Okay. What do they show on there? Pawn Stars. I love Pawn Stars. I think there's other shows they show on there, but Pawn Stars is really interesting for me to watch because, well, you know, the old man, of course, rest his soul. Chumley's on there, but they're buying this stuff that comes in wholesale, right? And there was stiffing people in it, but yeah, it's amusing. Okay, moving on. I don't know what that is. Okay, they show these. Okay, buy the clear TV, blah blah blah. You know, I'm a wrestler-looking guy, and you know, you can watch this clear TV. You just plug it into your flat screen. Blah 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 blah. Clear TV is for real. You know, that guy. I like that one. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is another court TV channel. Okay, blah blah blah. Maybe this kind of inspired me somewhat with the serial killer magazine thing. I loved working on that stuff. I loved it so much because it was unlike anything I'd ever done. It's like, man, you know, complete opposite of what I ever did for, like, say, like Radio Comics or Antarctic. I like that stuff too. Antarctic Press. That I could do the art in color, you know. But sometimes I would send it, right? And it was like, okay, send it in color. I did the extra work. They sent it off to the printers, which, I don't know. There was some in Japan, and they sent it to this thing, and they had to get it back from a boat, right? And it wasn't in color. It was in black and white, and it just kind of killed my art. And I was like, you know, sometimes I did the art pieces, right? And I said, you know, some you know, the design element of my art, you know, you know, black and white's meant to look black and white, but color is meant to look color. And when I did color, or I do color, background motorcycle. Okay, when I did the color pieces, sometimes I'd do these pieces and I was like, dude, that's freaking amazing. I'd be up like, I don't know, midnight till 5 in the morning, you know, because my sleep-awake disorders, and do those things, and, you know, but, well, you know, it is what it is, sometimes. Okay, what am I saying here? Okay, the Conan stuff, that's more stuff that I love satire, National Lampoon's sort of things, right? I'm drooling at the mouth. One of my medical problems. Yeah, I love doing the Conan stuff. I just loved it. I mean, 2011 alien abduction, right? Nobody's gonna believe that, but yeah, I wake up on a table somewhere and I'm like, we are the Zeta Reticuli, Orion constellation, Bellatrix. That's what I remembered. Okay. And when I woke up from that table, everything kind of changed. So there was this massive snowstorm that happened. I remember these life forms very clearly. Oh my gosh. See, doing this recording made me remember that. And, oh man, I mean, you tell regular indoctrinated people about it, and of course they're gonna say, well, I don't believe you. And that's like, no, that's not belief at all. You remember when you wake up or you go to a store somewhere and you see somebody you remember. And for me, that alien abduction was like that. I remember these beings. I remember the hybrid girl as she flipped the device open, right? And what happened? There was this technology she had, macro technology. Well, she was the hybrid woman, and somehow related to me, like a daughter figure, right? so somewhere down the line, these aliens were getting DNA from certain people. Well, guess what? I found out I was partially Jewish, right? That's why I think they took me, because they were coming into my place, right? Scanning people, right? That was weird. I mean, and it wasn't a vivid, it wasn't a vivid dream. It wasn't a lucid dream. That happened to me. Okay. And I had the missing time. We're talking 2011 here. We're talking 2011. And it happened to me, and it scared the shit out of me. And it was like, oh my goodness. And, see, I had missing time 9 years later. So we're, 9 years later. So it's 2020 now. And end of February, March 1st. See, I remember I was out for like roughly 18 hours. And I don't know what happened, but getting around the black missing time stuff. But after all of this stuff happened to me, I was like, oh my goodness. And I started recalling things very vividly. So yeah, alien abduction is very much a real thing. Because, well, you think cattle rustle, cattle round up, and advanced beings. I mean, they were so advanced. It's like well, you tell people what happened. And, 2020's got a lot of technology, macro technologies, but, it took me a while to kind of learn that. But what they had, you would call them alien grays, but no, Zeta Reticuli. That's what they're called, the Zeta Reticuli. So you think Betty and Barney Hill. Not Benny Hill. Betty and Barney Hill. That's, the star maps. I remember star maps and all of that. And like they downloaded this information into me, and no matter how much I tried, I could just recall that. I was supposed to be watching TV. Okay. Whew. That's me breathing. That's my Ashkenazi Jewish side ruach, my breath, right? Okay, back, oh, gosh. Okay, back to the channel flipping here. Yes, bound to recall something or another, but okay, it's on this digital recording. Yeah, I like this thing. I'm like, hey, I can talk into it whenever I want, and just be expressive, be me, and yes, I believe in the Lord, I believe in the Holy Trinity, but it's got to be, it's got to come from somewhere, and that's the thing. I say, God made the human race, but it's weird because it's like it's so advanced. I mean, if you're Adonai, El Shaddai, the Lord, God, you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like this really advanced technology that's so beyond me, but they understand it, the Holy Trinity understands it, so it all ties in with one another, and, it gets, it's real deep thoughts, I have tons of deep thoughts about everything, yeah, I talk a little slow, but that's a speech thing that I had because I was like 3. I'm gonna say 4 years old. I had all this information and this knowledge in my brain. Last time I did the IQ test, they said it was over Einstein levels. I took that pretty recently, like we're talking like a year to 2 years time. So this stuff, I have a bad sense of smell, right? I've always had a bad sense of smell. It knocked out a lot of my math cognitive abilities too. I was 4 years old, right? And my father, my dad, God bless the guy. Okay, they never took me to hospital. So whatever I had from this crack in my skull, right? It's still there. It's there. And but what I lacked in the math department, what do they call it? Dyscalculia. Okay. It kind of, I don't know, my brain fluids or whatever. That's how I became an artist. That's what I want people to remember me for, of course. You know, the visual imageries of just all of it. I mean, just everything. And, you know, I'm supposed to be watching TV. Okay, okay, what is this? Okay, I'm just gonna flip the channel here. Hold on. Bink. Court TV again. I got a second Court TV channel. Oh, I don't know, man. Watch that Harvey Weinstein thing. I'm not. You know, the news, it fucks with my PTSD, and it's like avoidance sort of thing. I'm not big on the corporate news. Why? Well, it's because it's a 666 code in this era. The modern day eras. They say this is like the end times, and it's like, well, through the end is a new beginning, the Alpha and Omega. Well, what if you like flipped it, Omega to Alpha, right? Like the Revelation chapters in the Bible. I mean, it's so profound and it's scary. I mean, it's just freaky, and you know, yeah, I say the Bible. The Bible. Oh, what you need the Bible for? Oh, I don't know. I think I was raised on that stuff. You know, just gotten so indoctrinated. This, you know, too many fucking news channels for me. It just gives me a fucking headache. Probably because I had that injury when I was like 4 years old, and I was just a little kid, you know, and God, oh, I'll tell you what, my life's been crazy sometimes, but when I get to my inner Zen moments, oh boy, I just, when I got into those times and places with my art, my artwork, oh man, I just, nothing else mattered for me. I was like, oh my goodness. There we go back again with, you know, being 4 years old. But, you know, okay, I'm supposed to be watching TV here, right? Okay, flip the channel. Like remote control TV, can over, you know, flip the channel. Remote control. Okay, more news. NBC thing. I don't want to watch that. Grit channel. They show a lot of old school cowboy things on here. Every once in a while I watch this, but, you know, okay. Next channel, moving on. Click. Laugh channel. That 70s show is on right now. Tommy Chong, the Cheech and Chong guys on this. Ashton Kutcher. What else did they show on this? I thought, man, did they show the nanny on this thing? No, I think that's Cozy TV. So that's coming up. So a little later. You fired. That's a common catchphrase in 2020. If you know what that really means. Huge, you fired. I'm not much of a news watcher. At all. It all started when I was a kid and I discovered these magical shows like, you know, Thundar the Barbarian and G.I. Joe, Silverhawks, Thundercats, Oh, what else? Inhumanoids, right? Loved Inhumanoids. Loved it. Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light. Of course, it has magic in the show, right? So, that was a magical era, Thing in this era is it's great because you can get on YouTube now. It's like YouTube. There was no YouTube back then when I was growing up. I mean, you were lucky to have like 3 channels. Harsh living. Okay, we're talking like my early years in the Missouri era. I'm talking to KC, Missouri, Kansas City. Okay, people get that confused. They're like, oh, foreigners, they get that confused. They're like, oh, well, Kansas City must be in Kansas. It's half Kansas, half Missouri. Oh, even in the 2020 era, right? I have to explain to people. I explained to them. I said, look, Dorothy and Toto didn't give birth to me. My late mother gave. She was from Iowa. Her. Yeah. Well, I'm. Okay. Her real name was Marlene Weber. Right. Very, very great woman. She's the one, and I tell you what, man. Okay. She was remarkable, considering back then we were just broke. We were broke. We didn't have medical care. We didn't have medical insurance. But again, it kind of gets back to this thing where, my mother and my brother and another person that was going to be my mother. Okay, they had this thing, and it kind of gets back with my alien abduction in 2011. Okay, they saw this UFO on the train tracks somewhere, and I'm like, growing up, you hear this shit, and it's like, you're like, oh my god, and you think it's made up, but let's see, when did Ancient Aliens come out? Like, let's say 7 to 10 years ago. That show, I was a consultant for Unsealed, and they have, a lot of the same people, and those shows, I could get locked into those kind of shows. Ancient Aliens, right? Unsealed, I was a consultant with, not necessarily an art consultant, or gallery person like the Conan thing, but I was raised on Leonard Nimoy's In Search Of, right? I like Star Trek too, but Shatner, of course you kind of expect him to be kind of this over-actor, and Mr. Spock, Captain Kirk, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's like, this era, I really like the 5th Star Trek show, Star Trek Enterprise. Brilliant. I mean, just and they show it in this channel lineup. Heroes and Icons. I love Heroes and Icons channel. Am I getting to that one? No. Yeah, I mean, Captain Archer, T'Pol, Jolene Blaylock, Jeffrey Combs as Commander Shran. Excellent performances in there. Fred Decker, right? The guy who did Night of the Creeps and what else did he do? Monster Squad. I love Monster Squad. Should I flip the channel now, or do you want me to stay on this channel? Do you want me to stay on this? I don't even know what this is anymore. Okay, I say I can't do it. I'm gonna flip this channel. Here we go. Flip. Decades Network. See, they didn't have sub-channels when I was a child. You were lucky to get like 3 on-air channels, right? We didn't even have cable till I was like in latter high school, right? Okay, they show Rowan and Martin's. They show Rowan and Martin's laughing with Ruth Buzzy. she's funny when she like beats people in with a purse, and I'm like, oh, that's classic humor. Joan Rivers, right? What else? What else do they show? Oh yeah, Dark Shadows. I love Dark Shadows, especially the color ones. That's classic, even for me, because that's the eternal soap opera for me. I wasn't too much into that when I was a child or kid, or yeah. Whew. How's that for some ruach, some spiritual breath today, huh? So it's March 2020. They're showing like Buddy Holly. Gosh, man. I couldn't imagine living in that era, the John Kennedy eras when, people were shot. And, So, see, I was born in June 17, 1973. June 17th, 1973. My mother was born 8/8/1937. So it's 37. You invert it, 73. I was born in the year 1973. The summer times, I'm not really a summer person, because I get pale skin. Probably like a hybrid alien thing. That just wouldn't surprise me. So I'm like 100%. I'm 100% European, according to my DNA tests. Ancestry DNA. Somebody said, oh, well, you shouldn't take a DNA test. I was like, man, are you crazy? Talking like Sanford and Son. Okay, jumping the point here. I dig Sanford and Son. Funny freaking show. Red Fox. Fred Sanford. Lamont Sanford. And then, Aunt Esther. I'm Aunt Esther, that stuff where they're like beating people with a purse, right? It's a silly gag, but for me it's like revisiting my childhood. And shows like that in this sort of era, they're never gonna die. I mean, I'm honest. Like Gary Coleman from Different Strokes when he says, "What you talking about, Willis?" I love that show. I mean, Gary Coleman. I wish I could go into a time portal just to meet that man or child man. What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Kimberly? What you talking about, Conrad Bain? Blah blah blah. Gary Coleman. Just, okay, what am I doing? Okay, moving on with the sub-channels. Okay, here we are. Heroes and Icons channel, right? They show a lot of good stuff on here, so this era of 2020, okay, House, Dr. House, Dr. Gregory House, right? Love that show. What else they show on here that I really love? Monk, Detective Monk, Adrian Monk, the defective detective, right? Okay, they show you get to about 7 o'clock here where I am. Guess what they show? Guess. They show the 5 Star Treks. So, the regular Star Trek, and then Star Trek The Next Generation, and then Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, and my favorite, I go for it every single time, Star Trek Enterprise. I love that show. It's like, it's just, I love that kind of stuff. Time and space, and I'm a Doctor Who fanatic too. I'm like, I love Doctor Who. Jodie Whittaker's a really good doctor. The 13th Doctor lady. And they've had some twists on that show up until like the 13th Doctor, right? There's companions that I couldn't stand. I couldn't really stand Rory Williams in the 11th Doctor era. Why? he was kind of stupid for me. Thinking, oh well, he's supposed to be a medical nurse, right? That whole thing where they did the twist, right? The Pawns era of Doctor Who. That was a weird era for me. But some people really love that era of the 11th Doctor. My favorite Doctor Who eras, and of course Tom Baker's immortal. He's in this era, I still think he's like the best. He's the longest lasting Time Lord from Gallifrey, and I'm like, golly. But I fell in love with Doctor Who when I first discovered it on PBS, right? And my first Doctor, if I remember right, seems like such a shuffle, and my first Doctor from Doctor Who was John Pertwee. Terror of the Autons, and what's his name? The Master. John Pertwee was like trapped on Earth for a while, and that's when they started broadcasting it where I was. So, but You know, I like the first two. I like, let's see. So it starts out with William Hartnell, and then Patrick Troughton, Second Doctor. Those were the foundation doctors for me. So, and then you go into John Pertwee. He was good. And then, you know, I was just a little kid. We didn't have that many channels growing up, and I discovered Doctor Who one day, and oh God, it changed me. I mean, it changed me so much, and you know, so okay, going from Tom Baker, right? Peter Davison, Fifth Doctor. That was a weird transition time in the Doctor Who history for me, but you know, so I was like, okay, you know, Tom Baker was so colorful. Then they shift to this guy who was on what was that show? All Creatures Great and Small. That was a weird TV show for me growing up. I love like the BBC stuff, right? Yeah, he's really good. But you know, growing up later on, I got old. I matured. Oh God. Yeah, I mean, you know, they went from Peter Davison and Colin Baker era, Sixth Doctor. I like that era. Some people loathe Colin Baker. I was like, oh, he spoke to me. Why? Well, because I'm a redhead. And he's a redhead Shakespearean actor. Oh, but I don't know. Yeah, he had kind of a wretched era, you know, Doctor in Distress era, but I liked the Colin Baker era. Then you go Sylvester McCoy, right? You know, the TARDIS got painted pink in that era, Happiness Patrol, and oh my gosh, I loved his era. It was so kooky and crazy and candy colored. The Candyman, and Helen A, and I love that era. You know, the Seventh Doctor era is what they called it, with, you know, Ace and gosh. And then there was time when I was like, there's no Doctor Who, man. But that's when I discovered Red Dwarf for a while. I love Red Dwarf. And that era just I love Red Dwarf. You know, Lister and Rimmer, the cat, and Crichton. That was like my fill-in for Doctor Who for a while, until, you know, the Fox network said, okay, Doctor Who the movie with Paul McGann and Eric Roberts. And I met Eric Roberts. I thought he was he was really cool to me. And yeah. So then I had a Macintosh and a LimeWire, and, you know, that kind of sort of thing. And I rediscovered Doctor Who that way. You know, the new era. That era where they had like Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant. His name, Ten, is in the guy's name. I love the Russell T Davies era. You know, Torchwood. I love Torchwood. Torchwood, you know. And they weren't like Unit at all. I mean, you know, they were not Unit. They were above Unit. They were above the police. you know, in the UK, the FBI, Torchwood. I love Torchwood. I mean, you know, people think that's silly. But this guy, this quasi-sexual guy named Captain Jack Harkness. Well, you know, Toshiko Sato, Ianto Jones, the other one, Bern Gorman, right? Oh, that whole Russell T Davies era just blew my mind. I had to discover it as like a bootleg thing, and I was like, wow. But you know, that Russell T Davies era, you know, so you had like Sarah Jane Smith, as she passed away, that she was like the children's show of Doctor Who. So Doctor Who was kind of like in the middle, right? And you had Torchwood, and Torchwood was like, I don't know. You ever see Stargate Universe? I love Stargate Universe. Getting off on a tangent here. Off on a tangent. Yeah. But, yeah. You know, the whole 11th Doctor thing, and me and Rory Williams, I don't hate the man. I don't hate that guy at all. I don't know. It's just maybe it was a typecasting thing. I don't know. That you know, they didn't know what to do with Doctor Who after Tennant left. Tennant was brilliant. Still brilliant, you know. Masterpiece theater, and I love that era. I mean, Tennant just blew my mind, you know. Allons-y, he says. And oh my gosh. I mean, it's just, no, the Eccleston era just blew my mind, blew me away too. I was like, oh, sweet, they're bringing Doctor Who back. I used to watch it with this buddy of mine at his house, and oh my gosh, you know, we were all like, hey, you can watch Doctor Who, and that whole thing with like Rose, and you know, Christopher Eccleston says fantastic. And in my mind, I'm from the U.S. anyway. Fantastic. It was just fantastic. David Tennant was all allons-y. You know. Am I getting too confessional? Oh, who cares? This is my recording, so okay, back to where I was. You know, forward and reverse time. Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. Matt Smith came along, right? He comes along at this time. He was decent, you know. He had his moments for me. I love the moment where after the pawns, right? You know, Clara Oswald. Somebody, you know, I had some dear friends that got me a Jenna Coleman. I was like, you're gonna get me a Jenna Coleman thing autograph on my birthday? And I got sent this thing, and I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. Wow, I couldn't believe it, because you know, it's Jenna Coleman, and she wished me happy birthday, and these people, you know, Dustin and Stephanie from Denver area. Denver. I'm going aloof like Tom Baker. Tom Baker. I'm Tom Baker. I'm a Time Lord. I have Layla, and you know. I just love the way Tom Baker sounds. Tom Baker. I'm Tom Baker. Oh man, you talk about a great memory. Tom Baker, I'm the fourth Doctor. Tom Baker, my bad impression there. Okay, so back to that. I couldn't believe I had this signed thing, and Clara Oswald. I that's when the Matt Smith era picked up for me, and when he was starting, Neil Gaiman wrote, what was it called? Nightmare in Silver, the Cyberman one. Yeah, that one. And Matt Smith was on a submarine in the 1980s, and this guy had this old school analog Walkman thing. I was like, I used to have a Walkman before it got stolen from me in high school. Me and my locker buddy. God. I had a Game Boy that got stolen from. I had to save up like $70-$80 for that thing. But that's the nice thing about 2020, is, oh my gosh. Okay. Am I going on too long here? Yeah, I'm rambling, but okay, back to the TV stuff that I really like and love and raised up on. There's so much of it, so many, and 2020, you're living in a basement, right? And you're just like, hey, they got sub channels. It's like a poor man's cable, basically. So it's digital, but you're watching these shows that were analog way back in the day. Okay, so I love stuff like Pressure Luck, right? Gong Show. Oh gosh, Match Game. I somewhat remember. You watch that on YouTube. I love YouTube. You can find anything on there. So in this era, I love shit like Everything is Terrible or Grimy Ghost, and I give them nods. But there's this thing called the memory hole, right? Got kind of creepy pasta-ish things. It's just crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like VCR tapes. I love VCR quality styles sort of thing, and it's like man. I like that kind of stuff, crazy stuff, but crazy for somebody else, but for me that's my normal, right? Okay, they're showing this thing on H&I now. Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy. Yeah, I never met him as of yet, but he's an ultra pimp, baby. God. I love cheesy bad movies, Mystery Science Theater type stuff, and riff tracks, and oh my god, Pluto TV online. It's just incredible. I could indulge in that for days on end, weeks, decades on end. Oh my god, BBC shows. I just, ITV. What's another one? There's so many that I liked. God, this is. If I made a list, it would just be terrible long. Nobody would watch it. Greatest American superhero. I met William Catt at one time. he was one of the nicest people in the world. But I think people say, well, who's your favorite person you ever met? And so far I say Debbie Rochon. Debbie. Remarkable. I mean, we could talk to each other, probably in telepathic thoughts. And I'm sure we do anyway. Oh, she's awesome. I've, talking to her and saying to me something about a threesome. And I'm thinking, oh, really? A threesome? You want a threesome or something? Did I hear that right? Or she says to me, she says, okay, threesome, and oh my gosh, I'm kind of aloof here, but what did she say? Threesome, something else, something, and I'm like, here's the movie, Good Sisters. I buy this movie called Good Sisters, and when I met this lady, automatically my mind just said, okay, trauma movies. What's that movie she was in with Lemmy? God, it's stuck in my head. Romeo and Juliet. I met Tiffany Shepard. Though, between like Tiffany Shepard and Debbie Rochon, Tiffany could have just killed me easier in a movie. That's what I was thinking when I met these two ladies who were in this wonderful movie. Wonderful. I've watched it so many times, called Wrath of the Crows. And it's awesome. And this guy named Brian Fortune in Game of Thrones later on went to Game of Thrones. I watched that movie so many times. It's just the visuals in it. Ivan Zukon, that's his name. Incredible. I mean, just wow. Okay, I gotta move on here. Let's see here. I'm gonna stop this for a little bit and take a little break. Move on. See how long this is now. An hour 20. 1 hour 20 minutes now that I've been recording this. And okay, I'll leave off at the H&I network. Great network. One of my personal favorites. Heroes and Icons. I didn't think I would get off on a tangent here, but yeah. I love horror movies, Okay, let's see. Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger kind of stuff I grew up with. Freddy Krueger with the claws, but I like the Jason Voorhees series, and people are gonna think I'm strange for saying this. Kane Hodder. I met Kane Hodder. I thought he was gonna kill me at first because why? He's Kane Hodder. Death House, I like Death House, They call it the Expendables of the horror world, and it is. I mean, that's a good movie too. It's, yeah, man. I'd watch that one again. But I liked Jason X, and I bought that thing at some used CD place, DVD place, Blu-rays. So they have 4K, right, in this era. Yes, 4K. I bought that thing for 50 cents somewhere on the Kansas side, and I'm like, man, boy, that's an underrated movie. Where he, Jason Voorhees, he goes to the future with Lexa Hoig from Andromeda. I love Andromeda in this era. Okay, they reenact the scene where I kind of remember it, but yeah, Jason Voorhees, they find him, right? Like I hope they find this audio in time and space, but they find him, they resurrect him, and of course Lexa Hoig, Andromeda herself, Andromeda, and no Kevin Sorbo here. Andromeda with Jason Voorhees, and people deadpan that movie in my era, and I was like, man, I love that movie. That's a funny movie. It's got the schlock horror in it. Schlock horror. Jason Voorhees. That sound he makes. Yeah, Kane Hodder he's a good guy. Tony Todd, who yeah, I dig Tony Todd. Tony Todd from Candyman. Yeah. I'll rip you from the gullet to the groin. Those classic lines from Candyman. It was always you, Helen. Always you. Dune, that blonde lady was in Dune. Dune. Let's see, what else do I like here in this era? David Lynch, Twin Peaks. I like the reinvention era where it took them 25 years to, and they said, well, I'm coming back. And then the reverse speech thing, right? Yeah, that weird sound effect thing. I like stuff like that. What was I talking about? I got off on a spiel again. Veal. Shouldn't I be watching TV? I get embraced by the TV. Yeah, so okay, we're gonna go back to this TV thingy now. Okay. Weird commercials, selling products, that sort of thing. I'm gonna flip this damn channel. Fuck it. Here we go. Click. Bink. Okay, Andy Griffith type stuff. Don Knotts. So Three's Company, man, with the late great John Ritter. That's funny stuff for me. Slapstick comedy like Three Stooges. I like the Three Stooges. It's I don't mind watching black and white television or black and white movies or whatever. It just depends on what it is. I love Criterion movies. I like this movie called Sallow, or the 120, Sallow. Crazy movie. What else do I like? Cannibal Holocaust, Not for Everybody. I gotta get in a certain crazy psychosis mood for that one. What else do I like? I like this movie called House. And it's called Cairo. I believe that. House. That one. I like all sorts of stuff, man. I got so many, DVDs, Blu-rays. What else do I like? The Sharknado movies, the Asylum movies. I like. Okay. James Cohen Bresek. I call him JCB. Okay, he directed a movie, and I bought this. I bought a 6 set of movie from this guy. $60. Okay, I really thought Bethany was just artistically incredible. I love art house films, but that was an art house film for me. And then there's another one called Blood Lake. I like that one. Zach Ward. Zach Ward. He follows me on Twitter. Tried meeting him. He was busy at one point at a horror show. Yeah, and what's the other one? Pernicious. What else do I like here? Oh, going back to the classics of bad film. Okay, so you got The Room with Tommy Wiseau. Hilarious. Crazy experience, man, when, Greg Sestero was like, hey, I don't know anybody. Come on up, have a good time with us. I was like, dude, I'm getting an invite from Greg Sestero to see The Room. And they let me in this theater, right? I didn't have much money at the time. And I was blown away. I mean, the whole experience, it was yeah, I like The Room with Tommy Wiseau. That's gonna seem weird to a lot of people, but bad movies really got me through some serious shit, some situations. So I like movies like Troll 2, right? Oh my God, that line. That and what else do I like as far as bad movies go? Okay, Death Drug, Philip Michael Thomas. He's like this sleazy. Oh, my name is Philip Michael Thomas. PCP and whack. I'm not taking any PCP and whack. As far as I know, no, I wouldn't do that shit. Okay, what else do I like? I like Borat. Sacha Baron Cohen. Hello, I'm the Borat. It's a nice, that kind of stuff. What else do I like? Ghoulies 2. It's just cheesy, but they're so freaking hilarious. What else do I like? Oh yeah, I like Conquest. I like Lucio Fulci movies. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that right. Lucio Fulci. Okay. What else do I got? Oh yeah. Ozu films. I love Ozu films. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many great films, getting back to those Criterion films. What else do I like? Kurosawa's Dreams. Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. That guy is a master. The Japanese guy. Okay, what else do I like? I like Akira. You know, Kaneda, Tetsuo, Akira. What are the influences? You know, stuff like Ghost in the Shell and what else? That era. And I like other shit too. You know, Cool Cat Saves the Kids. It's something else. You know, you just gotta watch that one. And what else? The Amazing Bulk. I was trying to Google the worst movies I could find one day. Guess what? The Amazing Bulk. You know, everybody says The Room and Troll 2 are bad. No, dude, what? Or lady, The Amazing Bulk. It's one of the worst damn movies I'd ever seen, but I could not put it down. So, you know, I've watched that thing like 100 times already. 100 times. Oh my gosh, you know. What other stuff do I like? Oh yeah, you know, like the Lord of the Rings movies. What else do I like? The Hobbit with Sylvester McCoy, of course. You know, 'cause Doctor Who references, of course. Gosh, there's so many great movies that I've seen. What else have I seen? Oh yeah, Heavy Metal, the movie. I love that one. Got a bunch of Debbie Rochon films over the years. Oh, she's awesome. Da 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 Debbie. Da 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 Debbie Rochon. Oh my gosh. She is awesome. Awesome. And I discovered so many of her films. Which ones do I like of hers? Yes, Jet. Okay. Serial Caller. I love Wrath of the Crows. Doom Room. Oh, and I can't leave out American Nightmare. American Nightmare. Oh, you know another thing I just love here. Well, and you know, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was like my generational version of Roots. You know, I like Roots, you know. And they say it's like, I don't know, like staged or made up or what. I liked Roots. But, you know, far as the last, I don't know, 10 to 20 years of television, Game of Thrones, oh my gosh. You know, Melisandre and Jon Snow. I liked random characters on that thing. You know, Othel Yarwick, you know, the Brian Fortune character. Even the extras were exceptional in it, even if you didn't know their names. There was a lady, I just stared at her for hours. You know, Ramsay Bolton's mistress. What was it? Miranda with a Y in it. Oh, she's beautiful, beautiful woman. But I think my favorite character on that was Carice Van Houten, or Houten. Carice Van Houten, right? Melisandre, oh my gosh. You know, this thing is dark and full of terrors, and what else do I like? Fringe. I love Fringe. Fox show. Had all these cryptic codes in it. Anna Torv, Walter Bishop, Peter Bishop, The Observer. The Observer was just, oh my God, they would stick him as a cryptic thing in Fringe and all of these codes, and I love Fringe. And hadn't seen that in a while. All these Debbie Rochon movies that just, oh God, there's just too many to name. Oh gosh. Okay, there's this movie called Zeppo, Sinners from the Beyond, or let me say that again. Zeppo, Sinners from Beyond the Moon. Okay, I like Plan 9 from Outer Space. Plan 9 from Outer Space. Ed Wood movies. I like Ed Wood movies. What else? What else do I like here? Oh yeah, Puppet Master. Like Full Moon movies. Full Moon. Okay, Tiffany Shepis movies. Tiffany Shepis, Nympha. Oh my God. Oh boy. Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's another movie I like. It's Class of Nukem High. Trauma movies, those are some great movies, Surf Nazis Must Die kind of thing. Criterion's, right? Andromeda, I said Andromeda, right? So Roddenberry stuff is cool for me. What else do I like? Planet of the Apes, the original, Charlton Heston. You damn baboons! You blew it up! Gosh damn you! God damn you all to hell! That classic thing where he sees the Statue of Liberty. Oh my God, he goes ape shit, literally. Okay, what else do I like here? I'm looking through my movies now, so old James Bond films are alright. Just depends on what they are. Oh gosh. Old school things like schlock films and B films and F-rated films, XXX, I guess. I don't know. I guess it depends on what it is. I guess it's always a mood thing in the end. Oh yeah. I like Metalocalypse. Doing it all for Death Clock stuff. And okay, Jeeves and Wooster's, really. I hadn't watched that in a while. What's that guy's name? Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli. I love those sorts of films. Old school kaiju films like Godzilla. I was raised upon, right? There's just so much I really liked. Stanley Kubrick films, right? The Shining, Clockwork Orange, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut with Tom Cruise was a weird one. But I there's certain Tom Cruise ones I like. What's that one? The Spielberg ones. Minority Report. I like Minority Report. And another Spielberg film is AI. AI, artificial intelligence, with that kid from Sixth Sense, that one. I like grindcore films, right? Let's see. Slither. I like Slither. Oh yeah, there was a show on Fox, and it's called The Following with Kevin Bacon. Okay. Let's see. Slither. I like Slither. Oh yeah, there was a show on Fox, and it's called The Following with Kevin Bacon. Okay. That one's not for everybody, but I mean, it's dark. I mean, it's Torchwood dark, or it's Stargate universe. See, I don't, Stargate is, I don't know, Stargate's kind of an institution anyway, but I really loved Stargate universe because it was a departure from SG-1 and what's that other one? Stargate Atlantis, and those I didn't mind those. Let's see here. I'm going through my movies, and then what else did I like? There's just so many. There's a show. It's a British show called Primeval. That was a good show for a while for me. The one with the dinosaurs in it. Oh man. What else did I like? I liked a movie called Pulse. Otherwise, Japanese horror film, and I think it's called Cairo, if I pronounce that right. Pulse, Cairo. It was like Jason X for me. I bought that thing for like, I don't know, 50 cents to $1, and I just oh my gosh, the one where people like evaporate into walls, right? And they're depressed, and they find this computer floppy disk, whatever, and they get depressed from it, and it's like, you see like this plane lands, and I don't know, some sort of explosion thing. Oh man. That's another thing I like, is Return of the Living Dead. Oh, I could watch that for hours. What else do I got here? I really need to go back to my TV watchings anyway. I just indulge in this stuff for hours. Study it. I mean, you gotta study it to be a visual person in the first place. That's what led me to the Conan O'Brien stuff. That humor is so college humor for me, but oh my gosh, I'm so glad that they took me in 2011. After an alien abduction. I know it seems weird to say, oh, I don't believe in that. News watchers would say that to me, and boring people, but my life was not boring. I came up from the mire. I came up from the poorest situations you could possibly imagine. Indoctrination and schools early. I was skipping around so many schools because I was misunderstood, that they just were like, oh, we don't understand his imaginations. He must have some kind of thing in his mind, Oh, well, that was then, and this is now in 2020, March 2020. Oh, let's see I'm looking through my movies here. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That's a funny movie. Anything with like Godzilla in it, I was raised on. Okay. I said Minority Report, right? The first two Ghostbusters, the original ones, I didn't really like the remake with the women. I don't have anything against women. Okay. I didn't like the Ghostbusters remake because it didn't tie into what I was used to. But I love those first two Ghostbusters films. The old Slimer, right? Arnie movies I like. Okay. The bad movies, I come back to that every single time. The bad movies. Okay, I'm staring at this one. Immortal. Okay, that's Inky Belial, the artist. The Nicopol trilogy stuff. I love heavy metal magazine type stuff because it's nothing like Marvel or DC at all, which perfectly fine for me because I got alternative tastes, and the original Star Wars films from George Lucas. I kind of go in and out with the George Lucas stuff, right? But there's Starship Troopers, the one with Casper Van Diem, forgive my thing. I like that one. Okay, Saw movies. I gotta be in a certain mood to watch a Saw movie, of course. But I like old weird movies, What else do I like? Oh yeah, the MGM Midnight Movies. They got some crazy ones. Let's see, Alien from LA, right? What else we got here? Oh yeah, Morons from Outer Space. My first film with my late mother, guess what? It's Flash Gordon. I love Flash Gordon. I love it. I don't know how many times I've seen that film. I'm gonna say about. I'm gonna try not to exaggerate. I'm pretty sure I saw that thing like 10,000 times already. What else do we got here? Old Vincent Price movies I liked. What's that one? Dr. Phibes. Love Dr. Phibes. So I got on a sphere of movies I like. I like so many, Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this TV thing, right? What else do I like? Yeah, Movies Network. They show some good stuff on there. Okay, flip the channel again. Oh, you know another movie I like. The guy's name is Wang Wang. For Your Height Only. He's a little Filipino midget guy. Wang Wang or Wing Wang. Wing Wang. Oh my gosh. For your height only. Okay. Moving on. More crap. Flipping through crap. I have no idea what this. don't know, Criminal Minds, you know, it's okay. Has its moments. What else we got here? No, not. Fine, I gotta flip these channels again, man. Like Sam Kinison says, oh, there's all these channels now, nothing to watch. Oh, there's plenty to watch here. Okay. What else we got? Oh boy, I just keep flipping. Oh, you know another one I like is Mutant X. I don't watch a lot of Marvel stuff, but Mutant X, and they have the lady. She's in a show called Heartland, and I dig Mutant X. You know, without that, would there be like a CW channel where they're showing like stuff like Arrow and that? No, probably not. You know, but that's just my abstract assumptions talking here. Okay, what else we got here? Emerald Lagasse. Yeah, I watch Emerald Lagasse, you know. The essence of Emerald. You know, bam! You know, stuff like Gordon Ramsay. Especially when he's cussing, because I have Tourette's myself, and, you know, I don't know what this is. Oh yeah, the Munsters. I grew up with the Munsters, of course. I knew Butch Patrick, right? Oh my God, this is a timeless classic. Not the remake Munsters, but, you know, Herman Munster. Oh, I'm Herman Munster. And Lily Munster was beautiful. You know, came out about the same time as Addams Family, before I was born, in 1973, of course. You know, this is gonna be a great recording. They'll find this in time and space one day, and they'll be like, wow, this guy really watched a lot of programs, you know, a lot of movies, a lot of, you know, I read quite a few comics too, but the comic books I always liked. I'm not really a fanboy. I'm not, you know, the whole stereotypical thing. Oh, I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. Blah blah blah. I've never saw myself like that. You know, never ever. And it's like, life's too fucking short to classify yourself, because there's so much more beyond that. Even in this realm that I call my life, death and life and death. So it's all interchangeable, you know. They'll say, yeah, you know, and I know I'm disabled, right? I know that. PTSD, drug tested as a child, illegally, okay? But, you know, it's like, man, what a life I've had, you know, in scriptures, God talks about the book of life. What a life I've had, you know. And yeah, maybe there's tiny regrets in there, few in there, but what a life I've had, you know. Met all these people, I've met celebrities, I met people that I was trying to help, you know, with disabilities, right? I'm disabled myself, but the thing about me, I just had to keep going, you know. Just like a teacher said to me, you have to exercise critical thoughts in your life. Otherwise, you're just gonna be like everybody else. They call them sheep. Well, and I say that. I say, you can be a follower, but in my own little way, or big way, or cult classic way, I said, man, why go with the herd? I wasn't ever really with the herd anyway. Make your own decisions. Think for yourself, and it's crazy because there's so many indoctrinated people out there. They don't even know they're indoctrinated, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like, yeah, somebody hear this one day and they'll be like, oh, well, John Wayne, he sounds like John Wayne, or he sounds like this, Mickmo sounds like this or that, or whatever. At the end of the day, I just fall asleep, go into my unconscious states, and then I wake up, and some days are really tough, and they're hard, but my sociology teacher in high school, he always said this. He always said, be a critical thinker. You have to be a critical thinker about everything. Otherwise, you do. You have to be a critical thinker. I'm a critical thinker, but I'm also a creative thinker. You have to think outside the box. If you want to do something great or original, you think outside the box, and I cannot emphasize those points enough. And I was raised up on really fun TV shows, Saturday morning cartoons, and everything. I mean, it's everything. It's nothing and everything all at once. That's the cycle of death and life. I came up from so much downtrodden bullshit that I was like, okay, I gotta make something of myself. So, not an alcoholic. I don't like drinking. I don't like smoking. You get high on life. That's what you do. I mean, that's how you live your life. If you get the message from God in the spirit world, Messiah, Holy Ghost. Once they told me, they said, you are in the book of life, Mickmo. You are in the book of life. No matter what happens to you, the whole energy conversion transfer thing. And I've studied this shit. I'm like, the pineal gland, the third eye that's in your brain. Everybody has one of those. Well, the whole anatomy thing, the body. I say a lot of people have a pineal gland, and that all goes back to the Ankh, the Ankh, Ankh, is that how you say it? I don't know. That's a symbol in Egyptian things, and it kind of pops up in my life. It's like, well, it's a cross. When I think crosses, I think torture devices, right? Okay, critical thinking. I don't know. that partial Jewish side of me. It's just like, oh, Jesus was like, he was wrongfully accused of, time and place, and it's like symbology. It's all symbology, everything, the abstract goes to the detailed, and the detailed goes to the abstract, and it's just, it's simple, but it's complex, and it's like, oh my gosh, and it pops up in every single thing, whatever my life is, it's like I say, they said, oh, well, you are in the book of life, and, the book of life, when I studied it, it's like, oh God, it's like a 3D pop-up book. Another thing I grew up with was pop-up books. All these things, man. I love movies, and I give them a shot. If I don't like them, I don't watch it. I'm not a news watcher. Okay. I know what I like, and I like what I like. I don't stereotype myself in such a way to where I'm, oh well, I don't know, what would you call me, a freak of nature? I've heard that, you're a freak of nature, Mickmo. You're a loner. You're this. Yeah, well, it's just, I don't know. It's just the way I am. It's just, I grew up a certain way. You're born a certain way. You die a certain way. I don't want to get into my deaths. I had premonitions of how I possibly die, and it was pretty morbid, like murder or something. I'm like, oh God. Well, me flipping my channels. Yeah, I like watching stand-up comedies too. It's like I like stand-up. Sam Kinison, Bill Hicks, George Carlin. Those were essential things in my high school years. I still have to have metal music in my life. So right now it's like grindcore stuff, grindcore, black metal, death metal, so you think things like Cannibal Corpse, right? Immortal, Abbath. I met Abbath. Maybe that's just another recording together. Who have I met in my life? Getting tired. How long have I been on this recording? I've been on it for a long fucking time. But that's okay, because somebody's gonna look at this thing and I'll be like, he was really a lot more complex than I ever cared to believe him to be complex. I thought this Mickmo guy was like a simple person. I thought, oh man, he's quiet. He's don't want to talk. I'm a deep thinker. Deep thinker, critical thinker, creative thinker. So there's the triangle in my life, my circle of life. Everything's like triangles, circles, subliminal stuff too, sublimination. There's so much to my life that I have lived, at least two near-death experience. I was dead, okay, in summer 2016. I was rushed to the hospital, and I was dead, okay. I was dead, and you get over to the other side, right? Yeah, I've had missing time from aliens, but back to my near death, okay? My near death was like, it just happened. It just, I remember I was, floating outside my body, right? Five doctors. I'm lifted outside my body, and I was outside my body, floating outside my body. That my near-death experience. I was floating outside my body, and then the tunnel, right? I went through the tunnel, and I remember God's white throne, and he told me pretty much these words. He said, "It's not your time yet, man. You got things to do on the earth level. You got to help people. You got to do things for people eventually." Yeah, I mean, there's life is simple, but then it's not. It's complex, and it's like life, that's what it is. It's your life. It's your own individual book of life, and that's what my life is. My life was, and always will be a central point in whatever it is, or whatever it was, whatever it will be. And that's so deep for me. It's like I'd been through all of these things in the earth realms, my earth body, my earth life, and I've loved so many things. People think, oh, comic books, I'm grateful for the comic books thing. It wasn't always fun for me, I've been through a lot of betrayal with that. But, there's things that I can get back away from that, I'm so grateful to God, Jesus, Holy Ghost, endless heavens. You think about shit like that. I do. The endless heavens, all of these philosophies. I mean, it's so simple, but technically complex. I don't always have to think about it. It's like, man. I mean, it's so much more than what you think it is, and I'm still learning. I'm relearning and de-learning, and God, my life has just been something else, man. But it's that deep. I mean, the layers, the sub-layers and the mysteries of God and the mysteries of life are just, I mean, it's so much. I mean, oh my gosh. You think it's this one thing, but it's another thing, and oh boy, I could go into this. I've talked too long anyway. And it's like, oh my gosh, I hope I left my mark, Hate to record this as like a memoir thing too, but life is so much more than that. I mean, gosh, I need some Ruach. I'm getting tired. I'm gonna have to Yes, that's my cat Jet. So Jet and Tigger, I love Jet and Tigger. My two cats got taken away from me, Webster and Gravy, and the third cat, and that, God, I don't want to go through that shit anymore. My transcendental love recording here, and just all these things in my life, and oh my God, how long has this thing went on? So right now I'm at 2 hours 14 minutes plus whatever. I've been recording this one thing for well over 2 hours of my life. I mean, but it just goes on and on, into the forever realms of life, time, space, beings, aliens that you're not going to understand, but I don't always understand it. I just lived it. Got caught up in situations or whatever. Some were great situations, but other situations, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to relive that shit again ever in my freaking effing. Trying not to cuss here from Tourette's, my fucking life. But I tell you what, man, there's things that I'm gonna look back upon. I tell you what, man, I wouldn't have missed those things for anything. It's like, oh my gosh, it really does go on and on forever. That's the way I'm gonna end this recording tonight. Is yes, I love movies, comic books. You gotta have, if you're wanting to be an individual expressionist, so to speak. I'm not really into politics, really, because that's kind of a waste of time for me. Gets in the way of my true visions, and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I've spoken too far again. Oh boy. Oh gosh. I should get back to this television. The television is my friend, my true friend. Never betrayed me besides, pizza. I love pizza. Pizza. Pizza will never betray me. It'll never betray you. Pizza's not my Judas, so to speak. My Judas Iscariot. Pizza never betrayed me. I love pizza. But I love a lot of things, There's things that I'm gonna just be like, oh well, no. But I love a lot of things. It's like, oh my gosh, it just goes on. It just, how about I just end this recording this way? Okay. I'm just gonna breathe. And that's gonna be it. That's it. You live and you die. You die and you live. Resurrection, life, death, rebirth, reincarnation. Yes, I said reincarnation. Reinvention. You always got to reinvent yourself every once in a while. And this thing, man. This thing will go out in outer space and time, hopefully. And if I record this right, I do it right, it's gonna go on forever and ever till Alpha and Omega, but you can reverse it. Omega and Alpha. It's reciprocal. Like the whole Trinity. The whole geometric design of the universe. And it's so profound for a lot of people. You know, they're not going to get that. They're not going to get this part of the message. But I tell you what, man. You know, if you make it to the end of this, you say, man, this Mickmo guy, oh my gosh. I never knew this about him. I never even suspected. You know, one day he was 14 years old, right? He had to come home. I had to come home to my mother's corpse, basically. I hated that shit. It took me so fucking long to get over that kind of shit. And, you know, not, you know, mainstreamers I don't know what they go through, but, you know, that's just my fucking life. I mean, you know, the good and the bad and the in between. The sleep cycles, wake cycles, everything. It's all everything. Everything is everything. You know. How about I just do this? I'm gonna end this recording, and you know, that's me. You know. Thank you, Artist Mickmo. Hashtag Artist Mickmo. Hashtag Artist Mickmo. It's just gonna. I hope it just does repeat. I'm a glitch code in this society, and it's like, but I know that, you know, and that's okay. How about I just end it like this? Okay. This thing's still on. Oh gosh. I'm just gonna end it this way. How about a Ruach breath, and that'll be it. Ruach means the breath of God. Okay. Or the spirit. So this is my spirit going into this thing, coming out. Cycle of death and life, life and death. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.